How do you get connected to the heart after that in an industry that is all about ego?
Well, I think sometimes, at least for me, and you've probably noticed this more than me because you've been at this game where you're interviewing these movers and shakers. Majority of people, they have that story of just depression, that story of like it all went to shit for me, and where you stop believing in yourself and you suck and you're just not good, where it can bring you to your knees, and that's what happened to me. I was brought to my knees. Where I was on the bottom.
Or figuratively?
Literally, where, there's clips of me dropping another ball and just hitting the earth, the grass, out of frustration. And I would go home that night, and I would be crying in my room, drinking a bunch of alcohol and crying and just spiraling out of control. Wow. And a lot of people, maybe they go through it differently, but I think that's part of the process. I mean, that's part of you coming face to face with who you really are. And what are you going to do about it now? And I think from there, that's how you learn. At least that created a real hunger for me to go out and actually study the great ones. Yeah. Study the people that have had great success, because it leaves clues.
That's true.
I don't know who quoted that. That's not my original. Success leaves clues.
Right.
But whoever said that, it's wise, because the formula for success is there. But we all have these stories that I'll come in here and I can tell you my story. There's underlying, like there's always stories of jealousy. There's stories of, okay, I'm not good enough. There's stories of I don't have what it takes, and the self-doubt and all that, and envy and all that stuff, wrapped up in different stories. And that's just mine. And I was able to start reading books, reading about people's lives, biographies. Then you start reading Mind, Body, and Spirit. Those are the type of books I like to read. And then learn from that. And then you start learning how to use vision, close your eyes. That helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Was just getting to where every morning and every night, kind of the first thought on my brain was, okay, how am I going to get better at what I do? Maybe that's a feeling of love too, of like, I love playing football. I don't love practicing per se. But I love catching footballs, and I fell in love with that, and I fell in love with the process of what it takes to be great. And I came up with this routine of success. I called it that. That was my routine of success. And I did the numbers. I wish I had them. I should have brought them. But just to put it in perspective, because I fell in love with the sport. Because if you're not in love with what you do, you're going to have to use a lot of discipline. And I always say, if you love what you do, the need for discipline will disappear. Discipline is great in a lot of areas of life, and you need it. But when it comes to what you are doing for a living,
you're excited to go.
You want to be excited. Yeah. You want to be like, okay, yeah, it's a grind, and I'm working my ass off, but where else would I rather be? And so I went from catching maybe 30 balls of practice, which as a receiver, this. Most guys go out there, they'll catch about 10 balls to warm up. And then throughout practice, as a starter, if you're one of the main guys who catches balls on the team, you'll catch 7 balls at the most during practice. At the most.
The play doesn't fall apart. If everything goes your way.
We're talking 7-on-7. You're not catching anything 9-on-7. Really, you don't catch that many balls. And then after practice, everybody goes in. So I'm catching maybe 30 balls, like the rest of the NFL does. Believe it or not, that's all they catch a day. Where I said, you know what, I got to come up with a different routine. Because Michael Jordan does this. Michael Jordan gets 1,000 shots. Like I said, you want to be like Jerry Rice. This is what I started studying Jerry Rice's routine.
That's like a freak.
I'm like, holy shit, these guys are putting in overtime.
Yeah.
But you have to love what you do in order to do that. Otherwise, you'll quit. You'll do it. I've had guys that watch me and they're like, oh, I want to do what you do, and they quit. They'll do it for about 2-3 weeks. It's because they haven't fallen in love with some aspect of the game, and if you don't do that, you won't do it. So I caught 30 balls. I went from catching 30 balls a day to now catching probably 300 balls a practice. And you add that up. And the difference, I did it over my career. I remember this number. It's somewhere around this number. If after that third year, so 15 years, I played 17 years. After that, going from my third year to the end of my career, if I would have kept doing the routine that I did before, I would have caught 20,000 balls over my career. That's including practice and then games or whatever. Who knows?
At 30 balls a day.
At 30 balls a day. The way I did it now, since I'm catching 300 over the 4 days a week or whatever it is, Don't do. I have the numbers, so people out there are like, all right, that math doesn't add up. Math's not my strong suit, but I did it. It was like 245,000 balls I've caught. So you just do the math: 20,000 to 240,000 balls caught over a 15-year span.
Wow.
That's what will make you a Hall of Famer, you know. But let's not fool ourselves. You won't do that if you're not in love with your sport and you're not doing the vision, the confidence, closing your eyes, putting yourself in that game, speed, that smell of the grass, looking up at the crowd, seeing the happiness from my coaches. Like I would do this before I even played the game.
Yeah.
I do this with my kids now. I have 4 kids, and I do guided meditations, and I've seen a result. Like
amazing.
It changes everything when you play the game in your head before you go out there. But it has to come from your heart. And I try to open my heart when I do these visionary exercises or meditations or whatever you want to call it, because that's the most powerful thing on your body. That's what your coach always says. Get your head out of your ass and get your head out, get out of your mind. You're too in your mind, and play with heart. And that's what that means. And that's when you can get to that point, and there's plenty of ways to do it. I have my ways, and it like everything takes off.
Yeah.
Everything takes off.
Do you think you would be in a Hall of Famer if you just stuck to 30 balls a day?
No.
Because people would say, well, you're so talented, you're 6'5", you're 250 pounds, you've got the natural athletic ability. You don't think you would have made it?
No. Well, judging off that year, I mean, I dropped all those balls doing it that way.
Right.
And like I said, let's not mistake. Don't act like I wasn't that guy who was out partying and chasing girls and stuff like that. I mean, I did a little bit of that, but I was in control. It wasn't.
You were disciplined. You were showing up.
It wasn't hard. It wasn't because I wasn't working hard. I worked hard as soon as practice started. You know, for that 2 hours, I'd go out there and bust my ass just like the rest of the guys on the team. But I didn't do anything before that, and I didn't do anything after that. It was like that was it, and then I'd go home and I'd be back in my regular space, where you can't do that. It doesn't work that way.
It might get you in the league. It's not going to help you excel in your league, whatever industry or business you're in.
Whatever industry or business, talent is. They say talent is overrated, and it really is. Don't get me wrong. You need some talent, and pick what you're good at. But if you want to be an excellent, you want to be a mover and shaker, you want to be somebody that has a legacy at what you do, if that's important to you, this is the way to do it.
When, after that third year, when did you face the most self-doubt?
Honestly, after that, self-doubt never got in again.
Wow. Really?
Never on the football field. Like I said, I was gonna go out there. It was all routine now. And
big games, Monday night games, playoff, nothing.
Never, ever, ever. In fact, the bigger the game, the more honed in I got. My better games came when the stage got brighter and bigger. In fact, you'll go from a point where now when the games you're supposed to win, the competition's not as high. That's what you have to concentrate on.
Oh yeah, because you bring your game down.
Yeah, you don't want to bring your game down. You have to excel. Yeah. And I think it's all routine and just that Michael Jordan, Kobe, Richard Branson, Michael Jackson. He was another. I mean, I could show you clips from Michael Jackson where he's like, I don't know where it comes from. He'll tell you. And that's how it is. You feel like that as an athlete. Like you're just out there in that flow. It's just flowing through you. And I remember Michael Jackson, they were interviewing some of his dancers. And they were talking about how he prepares for each show. And they were saying how they would rehearse until 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. They'd start around 6 o'clock at night and go till 2, 3 in the morning. The same routine. Over and over. And then they know they got it. And then Michael back, come on, man, let's just do one more. Just do one more. And I remember going, wow. And Michael even explained it. He's all, you love it. Like this is, now you are where, and the hard part is finding that, finding that passion, finding that love. But I believe, especially for young people, if you just got to keep putting your head out there and be willing to get it chopped off because it's going to come. I wrote a letter to my kids at the Hall of Fame that the critics are coming. The pain is coming. You have to go through that. That's where beauty is, or the fear. And I always talk about that. Like life takes off on the other side of fear. And you have to be willing to sit there in it and ride that wave.
Yeah. When you started to get it criticized a lot for maybe those first few years, and I'm sure you got criticized from the next 15 years after that for certain things. How did you face the judgment, the critiques, the, he's washed up or whatever they, at different ages,
I love it. I mean, that's all fuel. When people tell you that you can't do something, for me, the way you take that is say, okay, well, I guess I got to show you that I can do it. And when that self-doubt comes, I got into a good place, a good rhythm, where for football, that doesn't matter. Now, and I'm sure we'll get to it. Now, the transition after I get done playing, that's where all that self-doubt comes back, and that fear comes back, and the anxiety. It came back to me.
Did you feel that right after you retired?
You feel that, right after you retire, and I had a job. I mean, I went straight into working for CBS.
Yeah.
Being on national television, the main desk, that every job that every player who wants to do television wants. But I had to go through the same thing again. I got beat to my knees again.
Really?
Huh. Yeah.
How so?
I remember I was after my third year working for CBS, and I loved it over there.
Seeing a theme here. 3 years.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. The same thing when I was younger too. 2 years of Pop Warner football, and finally took off my third year in freshman. Year 3. But I made the transition. I'm working for CBS. I'm on the main desk. My contract is coming up, and I loved working there. It was shot out in New York, but I did not like getting on the plane, going back and forth. And even more than that, I wasn't giving them everything that I could give them. Not because I wasn't trying either. I was trying. I was working my ass off.
What weren't you giving
Meaning
them?
I wasn't coming from a place of in my heart. I wasn't like on the football field. That flow never happened for me when I was over at CBS.
It was kind of a little bit forced here and there.
It was in my head the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, hey, well, if I say this joke here and I punch it with this word, then it's going to get a laugh. Or when I am talking about, Rob Gronkowski running his routes, I'm going to talk about it from this angle, and you can do all that. But if it's not here, it comes off as rehearsed. It's not a good performance.
Yeah.
You're performing, but it's just not good. And it doesn't feel good to me. That sucks. I was having anxiety before shows. I was nervous. And I don't want to feel that way.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You're going to have that excitedness. I mean, you need to have a little bit. That helps you run faster. That helps you perform better. You want a little butterflies. But mine was from fear. I was so scared that I was going to screw up every time, and scared of showing who I really am, because what if that's not good enough? And so you work your ass off trying to do it funny, or to do it without stuttering, or whatever it is. I mean, and a lot of guys struggle. Just watch players that make that transition on TV. It is hard because you have to show who you are. You have to put everything out there, just like you're on a football field, just like I'm talking to you right now. Whatever, I don't care if you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, or you're a construction worker. It's hard to let everybody see who you really are.
It's even harder because it's your singular voice and you on camera, maybe with one or two other guys or girls, as opposed to a whole team, 20-something people on a field being criticized. You can't hide as much.
Can't.
On camera, right?
No, you can't hide at all. They're
you
picking
can't
up
hide
everything.
your voice, yeah.
You can't.
You don't
hide
have to
everything.
speak on the field, but you just use your talents.
And that's where a lot of people, it's like, well, on the football field, I can just be physical. But here, I got to use my mind now, and you want it to be entertaining, and you want to say something good and something profound. But that talk right there, it's like, shut up. Just shut up and go, and just speak, just talk. You know this game. And that's what I would tell all these guys. And they gave me this guy that I had to work with. I'm not going to say his name, but it just wasn't for me, because it just puts you more in your head. And maybe you have to go through that. But I remember it hit me. I was sitting, we're on vacation in Spain, just me and my wife sitting in a courtyard in a cafe. And she starts talking about the contract negotiations with CBS. And I'm almost done with my contract negotiation. And I'm going to negotiate another 3 years.
Wow.
But I kind of don't want to be there. And I never told her, I never told my management team or anybody else. And I'm sitting there, and the wife's all, so you got to be pretty happy with it. It was a good deal they offered me. And I'm like, yeah. And then
good money, great deal, yeah.
And all of a sudden, this wave of just fear came over me. Like my body started getting cold, and I started sweating, but at the same time sweating. And I had I don't know if it's a nervous breakdown, but I was like, oh, shit. And it was the feeling of fear, just like absolute fear. And the thought came into my head that what if I peaked? What if the best of me is over? And that's a scary feeling to be in.
Yeah.
I did not like that. And I started crying. And she's like, "What's wrong with you?" in the middle of this pain. And when I'm not bawling or anything like that, but I started tearing up, and I'm like, and she's all, I just don't know. I have, over the last 3 years, I have not felt how I felt, that aliveness, that excitement. I haven't felt it in 3 years.
Wow.
For what I do. And this is a lot of football players go through this.
A lot of it, pro athletes, people transitioning into the next stage of life. Yeah.
Anybody transitioning.
Yeah.
And because I've talked about that. I've told that story before in front of groups. And after the show, I've had men come up to me with tears in their eyes. And they're like, I felt that same way. I had a company that it was successful for 10 years. And then I made the transition out because I wanted something new.
Even if you sell a company for $100 million or whatever, it's like, now what?
How do you get back? And then you doubt yourself. You're like, I'll never be great again like I was on the football. And obviously I had a great career. Yeah. It's like a Hall of Fame career. And you're like, so now I never get to experience that again.
Wow.
And I'm 40 years old at this time. And I'm like, I got 40 more years to live, 50 more years to live. And I'm going to be talking about football games, talking about old, like
30 years from now. Yeah.
It was
the glory days.
It was a scary feeling. But I'm glad that happened, because off of that, I called up my manager, Constance Schwartz, and I called up my agent, my television agent, Jim Ornstein, and I said, "Hey guys, I think I don't want to." They're like, "Yeah, it's a good deal. We're good. We've been negotiating back and forth. It's over." And they're like, "I think I'm having second thoughts. I don't want to do it." And they were both like, "Shut up." Yeah, right. And then my agent was like, "This is a mistake. I mean, these jobs don't come along, and you're not gonna get a job at Fox. I mean, that's Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, and Jimmy and Strahan.
Yeah.
Like there's no room over there. And I mean, what are you gonna do?" And I said, "I don't know, but I can't not do this. I cannot live like this. I'm so tired of being afraid. Being afraid when I'm on air. I'm tired of being away from my kids because that was getting to me. Flying back and forth to New York for 26 weeks a year from LA. That's a long hike." Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm out. I don't know what we're gonna do, but I got it. Something's gonna work, and that really changed my life. That was like another pinnacle moment in my life, that I could either go this way or I can go that way. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going that way. I'm gonna go to the road. That I don't want the sure thing. I had people close to me, the loved ones, are like, are you a fool? Like you can't walk away from that. And I'm like, well, something's going to work. And that's where the phrase life takes off on the other side of fear. I was like, I am afraid right now. There's no doubt about it. This is scary. But I believe that's where the good stuff is. Yeah. That's where the gold is. That's where the diamonds are made. That's where you will achieve greatness. If you go up to what you're afraid of, but in your heart you have to do. Mm-hmm. But you go anyway. I'm not talking about skydiving if that scares the shit out of you and you're like, I don't want to, but that's not in your heart anyway. You don't want to do that and it scares you. I'm talking about the stuff that you want to do, but you're scared to do, but you feel it. That's where you got to go. And that's where you got to have the cojones, or whatever you want to call it, the motsy, the balls, whatever you want to call it. You got to have that and go through that. And there's steps out there, and there's people that will help you if you just ask for help. And there's books. And there's School of Greatness podcast. There's Wide Open, what I'm trying to do. My podcast. It's all over the place. It's all around you. And the only thing that's stopping you is that fear. And just go for it.
If you're looking for more greatness in your life, make sure to check out this video right here. And also check out our free PDF, The 3 Secrets to Unlock the Power of Your Mind to help you change your life. Download it right here.
There are a lot of answers that I don't have. Even questions that I don't have. But I'm just going to keep going.